Everybody.
Record the prompt.
Call this meeting to order.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Village President Hawkins,
Here.
Ms. Bruni,
Absent.
Mr. Detloff. Here. Mr. Morgan. Present. Mr. Pacini. Here. Ms. Worrell.
Absent.
Absent. Ms. Weedle.
Present. Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion for approval for minutes dated 8/19/2024?
Yes, I move to approve the minutes from August 19th, 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion to approve previous meeting minutes from August 19th as presented. Motion made by Mr. Morgan,
Yes,
seconded by Mr. Detloff,
Yes.
Mr. Pacini,
Yes.
and Ms. Weedle.
Yes. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, we have Nathan Stanula.
Nathan,
Oh,
come on up, Nathan.
I'll make it real quick. I know some of you know me. I watch all the meetings online. I try to watch every single one of them, so I'm one of those 50 views. We rented the hall here on Sunday, this past Sunday for my son's birthday party. Which we've rented a dozen times in the past 5 years. I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth. My wife and some family were setting up here. I believe it was Mr. Detloff. They came in and didn't introduce himself or nothing. And my wife asked if she could help him. And he kind of just said, you know, you can't help me, I'm a trustee, and continued to walk past him. Which is why I left a bad taste in my mouth, because I watch these meetings online. It seems like everyone's a good character, but to do that, especially as the chairman of the community outreach program, it's kind of just, I'm pissed off about it a little bit, to be honest, even though it's a petty situation. But I just figured, you know, and I see that, you know, run for president signs, and I hope this isn't just a judge of your character, that this is how you do react to the public. And, you know, we were a little here early, but we have been in the past. My wife is incredibly upset about it. You know, she's pregnant and home with a 1-year-old. So when some stranger walked past her that nobody recognized, she was a little disgruntled. So I just wanted to address that situation because, you know, I'm a little upset about it as well. But thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. What was your first name? I'm so sorry. Nathan, thank you, Nathan. No, if the hall is rented between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 a.m., there should not be any trustees coming in and out. It is rented as a service for the people, so I don't know if Ben, you want to say anything?
Yeah,
Okay,
Brittany
go ahead.
called me
Go ahead.
and I went to talk to Carrie and she got a hold of Brittany. Brittany was very upset because she came here to clean and the hall was already set up.
Oh, okay.
So she had to pay for a babysitter and go back home. Now she can't do her job.
Okay.
So-
Our Brittany, the cleaning lady. Okay.
Yes. And so I talked to Carrie about it this morning and she called Brittany and tried to explain to her that if it happens again, the people will be fined. That's what Carrie told them. The service agreement says it's 10 a.m., not earlier than that.
Okay.
So. And that's the reason I came here, because Brittany says I was here, and when I came here, Brittany had already left.
Okay.
And she said, what can you do to help me? So,
Nathan, that was just, I believe it's just a miscommunication. The hall, you don't usually come in until 10 a.m.
Oh, no, yeah, I understand.
So-
I heard the story a little differently anyways, but
Okay.
I understand.
Okay. I apologize for anything that happened. I hope you still want to rent the hall in the
Oh, yeah,
future,
I
but,
love renting the hall.
okay. I appreciate it though. I apologize for that. Do we have any other public?
That's
comment? That's it. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve bills for payment and payroll?
yes, I move to approve bills for payment dated August 30, 2024 from the corporate general fund in the amount of $12,017.87. Also dated August 30 from the motor fuel tax fund, $1,409.33. Also dated August 30 from the Fest account, $1,319.98. Also dated August 30 From the $250,000 sewer fund, $41,318. Also dated August 30, from the American Rescue, which is in this case the SLFRF funds, in the amount of $525. I also move to approve payroll ending August 17th in the amount of $20,791.87. Ending August 21st, 2024, $4,640. And ending August 27th, $6,375.
I'll second.
Any questions? Think we're good.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve bills for payment dated August 30th, following general fund, $12,017.87. Motor fuel tax, $1,409.33. Best account, $1,319.98. The sewer fund, $41,318 even. And the American Rescue Fund, $525 even. Payroll ending August 17th in the amount of $20,791.87. Another payroll ending August 21st in the amount of $4,640 even. And another payroll ending August 27th in the amount of $6,375 even. We have a motion made by Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
second by Ms. Weedle,
Yes.
Mr. Detloff,
Yes.
and Mr. Pacini.
Yes.
Thank you. Department reports, but clerk Scott Dillon.
But the only thing I have to report of is, I believe there has been 3 trustee petitions taken out. Just a reminder, we have 4 positions that will be open. There are forms still available down at the Village Hall, or otherwise they are available online at the Kankakee County Clerk's office if they want care to download them. Everything's available there as well. And other than that, I believe that's all I have.
What's the due date, Chairman? Or the beginning of the due date? November 12th.
November 12th, thank you. November 12th
To the, okay.
to the 18th.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Attorneys and engineers, I have nothing. Ordinances, Ms. Susie Weedle.
No report.
Thank you, ma'am. Streets and alleys, Craig Cassini.
Just a couple of things, JD and Steve will be helping Ben as needed for the fest this week. And then, just a reminder that the, brush pickup, will be on Mondays. And then October 7th is the last brush pickup day.
October 7th, unless a storm comes in.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
I see Steve and JD put the pickleball net up.
Yes.
So that's good. So you're in business if you want to play.
Finance Committee, Mr. Gary Morgan.
Okay, I sent out kind of a reminder. We got an email from the Illinois Municipal League, basically advising us that the new act, Public Act 103-0781, extended to non-home rule municipalities the ability to establish a 1% sales tax by ordinance. The home rule municipalities have always been able to do that. So it was just extended to municipalities like ours. And they also sent a model ordinance that could be edited by a local municipality. And again, I thought this is something we probably should talk in public about, whether we want to do it or don't want to do it. And again, wanting to do it, we tried to pass a 1% sales tax. We had all kinds of reasons for doing that. One, it would get us twice as much sales tax, which this year we hope to get 170,000. Twice as much. I mean, 6.5% is what's paid. We only get 1/6 of that. We only get 1% of what people pay for whatever the tax is on. So we could pass it. If we wanted to do it, the time to do it would be at the next meeting so that it could be sent in by the October 1st due date, which would mean it would start January 1st. And of course, the things not to do it is it means that people would have to pay another percent sales tax. We'd be getting closer to looking like Bradley and Kankakee, or I think Mantino also has more. And we did just have a referendum that basically said no to the sales tax. So at least I thought we ought to put it out there publicly and so that we know that this is an opportunity whether we wish to take it or not.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on that? All right. Community outreach, Ben Detloff.
Several things here. At the last meeting, I had talked about adding one more signature, on our bank card. It's not to replace anybody, it's just to add one more. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to include, our clerk, Scott Dillman, this for his signature to be on the card for Midland Bank to be able to sign village checks.
I'll second. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we have a motion to add Clerk Scott Dillman to the signature card at Midland States Bank. A motion made by Mr. Detloff,
Yes.
seconded by Ms. Weedle,
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Pacini.
Yes,
Okay, the second thing I got, I want to thank JD. He gave the foundation a large donation for what the events that he put on during his pancake run. So we greatly appreciate his initiative to do that. Even though I think a lot of it was his own money, but it's still greatly utilized.
All donations.
It's greatly appreciated. So it's gonna help a lot.
And we had a good time.
And we had a good time, but I tried to stress to him, we appreciate it, but he shouldn't use his own money. The next thing I have is the county sheriff's department through our chief, what's her, Becky Powell. Becky Powell. Got a hold of me and the building, we're now registered with the county. The building will be used as a heating and cooling center as needed. And then the American Red Cross reached out. We're going to meet with them and Scott and I are going to do this jointly. The building will be used for disasters in the Grand Park or surrounding area if we meet the criteria of the Red Cross. We used to do it and we're almost expired from that, so we're going to renew that.
Mhm.
And this coming weekend is our fest, 7th and 8th. So a lot of people put a lot of work into it. Please come out. The weather's going to be nice. And the last thing I got, I'll wait till the village president presents her thing at the end of the meeting, and then I will briefly talk about it. So that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, Grand Park Fest is 7th and 8th, kicking off Saturday morning with an umbrella parade.
The umbrella parade, yes, 9:30, vendor fair at 9:30, and then I talked with Maureen Lee from Lee's Rental. They're gonna be out here Friday, setting everything up. Scott's gonna be getting the train cars. We're gonna be getting a snow fence. I'll be up setting vendor tables tomorrow, so we got a busy week to get things spread.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. Buildings and Grounds Chairman Robin Bruni is not here today. Law Enforcement Committee, Morgan Norrell is not here today, but do you have anything, Chief?
I'm gonna read this thing for Morgan and then I've got a question.
This is from the Village of Grand Park Police Department, calls for service August 2024. The police department handled 127 calls during the month of August, and the summary of calls are accidents, crashes, 11, ambulance calls, 13, mental cases, 2, assist other agencies, 39, domestic disturbances, 9, and suspicious vehicles, persons, 2.
There's one more, I think, coming in.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
I did 2 months at a time.
Oh, I'm sorry. And there's I didn't see the July one. So this is the police department handled 126 calls during the month of July. The summary of calls are accidents and crashes, 4, ambulance calls, 16, mental cases, 4, assist other agencies, 23, domestic disturbance, 6, suspicious vehicles and persons, 4.
And what I have is, I have 2 letters from Momentum Police Department. The first one is, Officer Bella was assisting them in a large fight. Last night, I think it was their festival. And, when they took that guy into custody while he was on his way to Kankakee County, they had an armed robbery. So James and the county guys handled that. So that's just thanking him for a continued, service to Moments and our cooperation. I have one for Sergeant Castillo. He recently taught, he teaches CPR and first aid And he taught some of the women's officers that, and another letter from their chief expressing his appreciation for that. That's all I have. Oh, I'm sorry, I do
Oh,
have.
yeah.
SWAT update.
Mhm.
The new SWAT is here. It's been lettered, waiting on equipment so we can get it set up. The old squad, I want to thank Steve and JD. They stripped it for me and, that's been traded in. And I think that's all I have.
Do you happen to have anything on, adjudication court that you'd like to say for the record,
Well,
since we had an issue with last?
yes, we, at adjudication court, the issue came up, where one of the residents was cited for running dogs running at large. And Valjean was there, so we had several people there, the president was there. Unfortunately, people I don't think understand adjudication court, we're not there to find people necessarily. We're there to change their behavior. So by initially writing, she said, she thought she would just get a ticket and pay it and it would be the end of it. I don't believe that's the right course. The course is a lot of times, I want you to come in there, I want you to change your behavior, not necessarily fine you or fix up whatever the issue is, whether it's high grass or some other problem with your vehicle. You get a lot of that, your yard's full of weeds. I would rather people come in, sit before the adjudication officer and get a date to have this fixed by. And then when you come in, there may be a minimal fine involved. But the purpose of adjudication court is not necessarily a money-making thing. And I think this person was missing the point of it. I want to get you in there before us and have to answer for whatever you're doing. And then we can correct the problem. So I think it does generate some revenues, but that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to change people's behavior so that we don't have to write tickets in. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We also had a gentleman at, court, sorry, I was trying to get an email for our next thing. He couldn't cut his grass for a couple weeks because he was in the hospital. So he got fined and put in adjudication court. If God forbid some reason you are the only one living there, you have no one else and you need your grass cut, you can reach out to the village and we can possibly do a one-time grass cut or something. Don't put yourself in such a, dizzy over weeds and stuff. If the village is here to help people, like I don't see any of us saying, no, we're not gonna cut that person's grass. They've been in the hospital, whatever, God forbid an illness or something. You can always reach out to the village, and see if there's something else that we can do for you as far as that goes, so. Unless there's any trustees that disagree.
No, that sounds good.
Okay. And then that was it for adjudication.
Yeah.
Next is,
People forget we are a community.
what's that?
I think people forget that we are a community.
Community, and there's
We all look out for each other, or most of us do, and try to help each other.
87 of us, and I'm pretty sure we all have a nice person next to us or whatever that would be like, hey, let me help you out there or something. Some people just don't like to ask for help. I don't like to ask for help. But I drove myself to this meeting today, so. All right, on to next. We have to vote, that's what I was looking for this email for. For the KVCC bid for Taylor Street repairs. I have the amount as $46,567, I believe was the entire bid. I cannot find the whole email in here though.
That sounds right.
Or do we have a motion to approve the KVCC bid for Taylor Street repairs not to exceed? Let's go with $47,000. Or does it have to be to the penny?
No, 47.
Okay.
Okay.
So did you make the motion?
No, I didn't. I said, is there a motion? Anyone wants to?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to accept the bid
Okay.
for the sewer work. I guess that's the proper sewer drainage. work?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
To exceed the 47,000, yeah, that's
Right.
right. I'll second it.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask one question concerning that?
Yes,
Over by my house, only because I'm right where all this
I
action
know.
is, where the storm sewer drain that we fixed last year
Mm.
by the fire hydrant in between the circle drive of the elementary school,
Mhm.
there is a painted green line dotted slash or whatever, going across the road and into the west edge of my property, about 20 feet, and then an arrow continuing south over toward Park Lane.
Yeah.
Almost makes me think, is there any way to find out if there's a buried storm sewer that we don't know about there, that we could maybe put a drain in and toward my backyard to alleviate that flooding that happens after an inch and a half of rain?
I mean, that would be a new
I mean, that'd be, I
question.
understand that'd be a total separate
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
but
yeah,
if
yeah.
there is one there, I would think that'd be somewhat simple to do.
Well, while they're
If it's
digging all
there.
this up, I would, make myself a note, or if you can make me a note, since I can't write, to ask Neil about that before
Okay.
they start, and I can get.
Otherwise, I don't know why they did that.
I don't know if it's, I've been asked about that green line. I have no idea what that green line is for. Public Works has been asked about the green line.
It's all French drain, was what we figured out. That's why when we had it fixed,
Yeah, I think it's a water flow. It's just
Naked.
killing.
just a French drain that ran over underneath the road for whatever reason. And I didn't do it
Yeah.
myself, obviously, but
No,
no, we ran it, because that's the issue where we had it fixed. And they ran their scope, and we were like, yeah, just run through a French drain, we're in the field. And it just, it's a low spot, you need about 12,000 pounds of dirt to level it over. The roads in the alley, you look at it from anywhere and you can see,
oh,
you
yeah,
can walk people's backyards, and then it does, like you said, it's a super.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that everything tapers to my
It's like it's
backyard from
sold
all the
some
neighbors
backyard
behind and
foot. Yeah.
everywhere, but, and it does drain away, but every year it costs me about 10 pounds of grass seed to get grass back
Here,
if
just
it
redid,
cooks.
they just redid their house down here for the same reason their house was flooding. And I don't know how much dirt they had to put around it, but I put up a good 6 to 8 inches of dirt on the whole thing to level it off right there on,
Okay, so you don't think there's a storm sewer buried between the two?
90% sure it runs to a French drain, it's an old rock drain. We had it when that piece got fixed because it was issued, having there. But I mean, when they're working on it, I mean, feel free to go ask them to poke ahead or whatever. They might be able to get a better eye of it, but I feel like I'm 90% sure when we look at it, it's just an old French drain that
Okay,
ran across, but ironically, it just takes the water there to a spot that's not draining anywhere, it's the same level.
mhm.
But
Near Scott Dillon.
yeah, they might have a better idea, maybe
Doing all the
50
projects.
years ago it ran somewhere, but yeah, when we looked at it, because yeah, that one section where they had to take out, that's. Because I asked you last time, you'd asked about that, where's this green line run? There's no official pipes, so it just runs under the
Okay.
road.
That's more of an answer than I had.
Yeah, that's the best I could get for the last time we talked.
Thank you.
I left myself a message to contact Neil tomorrow, so that when we do dig into that process, we can make sure there isn't.
Yeah, I don't
anything
think
down there.
digging anywhere near there, I don't
No,
think,
but-
but
But they
You
can
never
scope it
know.
or something,
Yeah,
something fancier.
okay. So that answered your question for the most part?
Yeah.
All right, did we count that vote or no?
no, I don't think we did.
No.
Okay, motion to approve, vote to approve KVCC's bid for the Taylor Street repair not to exceed a cost of $47,000. Motion is made by Mr. Detloff
Yes.
and seconded by Mr. Morgan,
Yes,
Mr. Pacini
Yes.
and Ms. Wheel.
Yes. All right, so what, we have leak pickup issues. I thought at the last meeting we had resolved them. But then I guess, I was gonna say Frank Fenn has come up with something else possibly.
I think for the time being, if you want to read the letter, and then I think we'll vote on that. I think it's probably not a doable thing this year.
Okay, so read the letter.
Just read the letter, see what the village board thinks, and we'll go from there, and then we'll, hopefully the board will address this by the next leaf season or whatever we want to call it. But I don't think it's something that we can resolve right now. I went to Rantoul and I looked at a used unit for
Mhm.
$24,000 and it's worth about $2,400. Right
Well,
now,
good effort though, good effort.
well, right now, because of the issues,
Yeah.
we can't do anything.
Okay. So the letter as of now just says village resident, dear village resident, this year due to mechanical issues with the leaf collection truck and vacuum, we will not be able to pick up leaves this fall. This is a temporary issue. Alternatives for leaf disposal would be request a yard waste container can from Republic Service or the brown bag leaves for pickup. I clarified with Republic, you get like 2 free cans with your service. One can be garbage, the other one can be garbage, recycle, or leaf pickup. And then if you want an additional leaf pickup, it's the $9. So for a third can, it's $9 more, I guess, if you don't already have a yard waste can, is what it was explained to me. And then also they'll pick up the brown bags with leaves if they're next to the yard waste can or in it. So. It is, like we said, a temporary issue. The funds for this would come from our actual budget. The funds for other things like the streetscape, the drainage issue, the park, those are all funds that would come from TIF or things that are used just for that. These funds would come directly from our budget, which we have looked at, and we do not have that in the budget this year to come up with an alternative. So this is the letter I'm putting in front of the trustees to vote on and send out.
I think at this time, I would like to make a motion to have this letter sent to the residents to inform them on, right now, it's temporary, but it's the best that we can do. And it's just because of limited funds and we don't have it to buy the equipment. New equipment, I already looked at, and for what we have, we're already looking at $50,000 to $60,000, and it's not a possibility. So,
Not yet.
not yet.
One day
No, we will address this by the next budget.
we will.
So this is not gonna be an ongoing issue, but right now, this is the best we can do.
Thank you, Ben. Do we have a second? I'll second. Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we have a motion, to send out the resident letter pertaining to leaf pickup as presented. Motion made by Mr. Devereaux,
Yes.
seconded by Ms. Weedle,
Yes.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Pacini.
Yes. Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
On the bags, are people gonna have to put a sticker on it? Or that's an additional pay? That sticker like $1.25?
They didn't say anything about a sticker. They just said you can pick up these brown bags at like Burkhart's and,
Yeah.
what's the other one?
A lot of times
Walls.
what they do at these stores,
Mhm.
you have to have a sticker with that bag.
Oh,
And
okay.
that, so that's something maybe to look into because a lot of the villages do that.
Okay, I can get clarification, but she just said the brown bags sold at grocery stores, so I assumed it was just like a leaf pickup bag, but I can get clarification for the
Because you're gonna
next.
have people here that has a lot of leaves, are gonna have a lot of bags out there.
Yeah,
You know, these guys are gonna get teed off, they have to get out there and throw them in.
yeah, no, I hear you, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Since we'll be
Ask
sending
about
out,
the brown bags, no, go ahead, ask about the brown bags.
since we'll be sending out
Next
that
meeting.
leaf letter,
Yes, ma'am.
just maybe to utilize the back side of the paper and additional paper, is there anything that's gonna be coming up in the village that we could, even before a little newsletter is sent out,
Oh, yeah,
you know, maybe include?
Mhm.
I don't know, Christmas is literally right around the corner, maybe, you know,
That's a good idea.
Christmas lighting tree and
Concerning the
whatever.
leaves, we even had some farmers that were gonna be willing to take the leaves and grind them up when they disc their fields,
oh,
which would be great, except we don't have any way to pick them up.
yeah,
So I said, you know, that's a great idea. You know, obviously, we do have a place in the back. It's just that we do not have a means to pick them up. And I agree with you. The older parts of town with the older trees, there's a lot of leaves. Where other parts of town, there's very few of them.
yeah,
Or you can be lucky and live on top of a hill and they blow down to your neighbor's house. So, no, it's an issue that we have to address and we will address it at the next budget. We won't be just pushing this down the road and never take care of it. It's just unfortunate that this happened and, we can't do anything about it right now.
I like your idea, yeah, I'll let Carrie know if there's something else we gotta say, put it on the back.
Right.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
just kind of like, you know, haste makes waste, so maybe before she gets the letter sent out, like with everybody,
I like that. All right, cool. Thank you, Susie. Sorry, I was talking to Stacy. I don't know, Stacy. Yes, sir.
No, in reference to this, the leaf pickup thing, as well as, you know, last time I proposed that we do the 1% sales tax. I think this is a prime opportunity to do that. All we talk about is funding, funding, funding. We don't have funding. I don't think we can throw all of our eggs in the basket of the dispensary. Hopefully it's successful, but I think the 1% sales tax, we tried to pass it. It lost by a margin, but I think for the good of the village, in order to ensure that you can do these things in the future,
Mhm.
we have to get another revenue source. And I think that's the only way right now.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. When I saw the email from Gary, I'm like, oh, well, residents aren't gonna be happy, but we're probably gonna do this, so. I agree, Carl, thank you. Next up is discussing building permits. I guess we've had some issues with people doing work. I did a what?
You gotta vote on the lease name.
Oh,
Adjudication.
Oh, sorry. I talked about adjudication.
Ordinances.
So did you vote on the letter?
Did we finish voting on the letter?
I thought we both.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, no. Adjudication, he spoke of for me, because it was just about saying that adjudication is for compliance. It's not really. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but.
No, you're
I
fine.
just, is there a way that we can, for lack of better terms, audit the books to see where we're at as far as profit and loss and hosting this adjudication court? Are we anywhere close to breaking even with what we pay Brian and Carrie and the fines that we take in over the course of a year?
I'm sure there is a way. I do know that it is,
Because I've been asked that question several times by residents.
oh, I know,
I
yes.
think we do better than break even,
Mhm.
in the term of what is the fines levied.
Mhm.
A lot of them have to go to collections. So, in the long-term end of it, I think we're above the water level, but some of them take longer to get than others because of collections. But I think routinely, we probably get somewhere in the area, I'd say probably $1,000 a hearing in fines. And sometimes more, sometimes less. But I know we've had some as high as $5,000 fines. And
Mhm.
so I think, if you look at the watermark, I think we're above the watermark. If you look at the whole thing, sometimes up, sometimes down, but I think, I do, agree. I mean, I think it's necessary because of the compliance factor.
Yeah.
And like when we get juvenile problems, which luckily we've had a lot of those lately. When we do, that's a great opportunity for us to utilize that. If people are disputing parking tickets, that's a great opportunity to utilize that. And so I think it's necessary. And I think it's at least break even, if not better.
That's all I think residents want to hear.
Yeah, no, it also saves, if the resident gets a ticket for adjudication, they stay here. If they get a ticket to go to Kankakee, it's gonna be probably court date at 9 AM on a Tuesday that they have to sit there all day for this ticket that they're just gonna pay in a fine. And they could continue doing whatever they're doing here. At least having the court here, we can say, well, yeah, you'll pay the fine, but can you at least pick up the leaves, the grass, the registration car that doesn't have registration? Sending it to Kankakee, we have less accountability when it comes to,
Oh, I understand. That's why it was
Okay.
all pulled here in the first place.
yeah.
But I haven't heard any profit and loss kind of thing.
We can,
And the
I
years that
can,
we've
I
been
can
doing-
ask her to get it together for like last year. This year, obviously wouldn't be able to because it's not over yet, but we could get a guesstimate of last year's and at least have a good idea of where we're at with it. Okay, did I skip something else?
Next is ordinance.
Okay.
Ordinance and violations.
Well, it went along with adjudication. I discussed the ordinance and violations. If for some reason, like I said, if someone's sick, can't get to their yard, yada, yada, reach out. We are a community that is willing to help people if it's in need.
750, we go to 560.
Oh, wow, okay. So he says we collected,
$560 to date, and we've spent 750. But this has been kind of an unusual one.
yeah, we didn't have to because of holidays.
Yeah.
So
Oh, further just the one.
that's just
the one.
January until now, yeah, so.
No, that's since May.
Oh, since May? Oh, okay. Almost there, not quite, almost there. Ordinances and violations, and then building permits, back to building permits. Some people, I don't know who, because it's anonymous, but if you are doing work on your house, you should call the village or look into the ordinances and building permits and make sure you do not need a building permit for the project you are performing. we've had a couple people do jobs and they did not have permits. So, like, for example, one was a fence. The guy thought he could sneak that fence in there. And their neighbors were watching and called us, and luckily our building inspector went out and inspected it and it was fine, but God forbid one of those poles was not 60 or 36 inches in the ground. That whole fence would have to come up and the resident would be responsible for paying to redo the fence. There's a purpose for work permits or building permits, I apologize, is to go by the code so that anything you're building is up to code and will last the structure. I could name off a bunch of them, but they're on the website. I can get a list and bring it for the more common ones, but if you are doing any type of updates to your house, please go online and make sure you do not need a building permit for the project. Because our new building inspector, he's a tight one. He might come out and ask you to tear that job down and restart it, or at least the part that is not up to code. Any questions? No?
You can get a sheet from Carrie that shows what needs permits and what doesn't.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, she has an idea of this.
Yes, Mr. Dillman.
Do you know,
Roger Moore.
I just been hit with a lot of questions this next one. Do you know over in Hamilton Farm subdivision,
You got it?
is there, I don't know the proper term, covenant, ordinance, area ordinance, whatever it is, that you have to have a front lawn either sided or seated before occupancy?
I looked into that ordinance. I didn't find
I think I can
anything.
answer that. I looked through all the ordinances because we have some, most of the time when the builders do it, it'll be the occupant's responsibility to do that as soon as the property is sold. We have one house over there, they didn't plant any grass, it just had all weeds. I could find nothing. In the property maintenance code, it talks about maintaining your yard with grass, but it's not clear that you have to have grass. So I
We're
think
still looking into that one.
we're kind of, there's some gray area there. So we're.
Because it was, well, quite frankly, it came from an area resident that said they had to have that before they were given
Yeah.
an occupancy permit just down the street from this said mentioned house.
Yeah.
And then here this one sits
I
for a
think,
year.
I believe Hamilton Farms when it was built, and obviously it predates me and a lot of people here, but when it was built, I have to assume there was some type of covenants or some type of guidelines, because I don't think everybody would have put in concrete driveways if they didn't have to. So I think there had to be some type of rules, which are usually controlled by a homeowners association, which they don't have. So I think there were probably some guidelines when they started that, and I don't know who would have maintained those or who would have been responsible for the enforcement of those. But I agree, I think there should be something, but it's.
Would that be an ordinance we need to look into?
Yeah, I'm gonna be off for the next 10 days, so I
I
can
mean,
be.
my
on-
understanding was at least the front yard.
Yeah, I would say at least the front, yes. As far as those other house properties over here across on the south side of that street, those I did give Deb Morgan permission to use as meadows or, yeah, and there's a sign out there that says, I gave her 3 lots to do this. Doesn't hurt anyone. There's good bees and stuff out there in the juju. But yes, that house does need to be acknowledged and we have been looking into it. We just haven't looked.
They've been cited, did not show up in adjudication court last time, so they're due up next time.
Okay, well, I can make it to that one too, so. All right, anything else before we adjourn? No? All in favor to adjourn? Have a good night.
Strongly encourage you guys to do the one yourself.
Oh.
We didn't get any response.
Are you
tonight,
recording?
so I got the-
Now, because
We'll put it in our-
that's right, we need to do.
And see what happens.
Sorry, we don't, it's not like we have folks to bring.
No,
And the thing is,
we would just make it an ordinance.